So it's New Year's resolution time, and that means goal setting. But let's face it, most goals and resolutions don't last much longer than January. But I do my goal setting slightly differently, and after 20 years I can tell you it seems to work. If you want to know how I do it, stick around. I've been setting myself goals for 40 years now, and I reckon I've got a way of doing it which means that more often than not I'm still thinking about the goals at the end of the year. So I know that I need goals to try and achieve. I've tried lots and lots of different frameworks. There's the SMART, there are the 6 F's, the 7 C's, the 4 C's, the 3 U's. Okay, but back in the real world, I reckon that there are probably only 2 key things that goals have to have in order for them to work, and I'm going to talk about those now. So a bit of background. I've done a number of roles within blue chip organisations for the first 20 years of my career. In the 20 years, I had a time where I was selling, and I was selling right at the sharp end. I was selling cold to the general public, and I was using the phone to get my leads. I quickly became aware that salespeople tend to set their goals on a monetary basis, and they would say, I want to earn $500,000 a year, or I want to earn $200,000 in the first 6 months. And I was talking to one very, very successful guy who seemed to be the exception, and he said the mistake they're making is that they're just wishes, they're kind of dreams. What I do is actually work out the activities that enable me to achieve that. If you do that, I can guarantee you'll be doing very well within 3 months. And I thought, well, if only to prove him wrong, I should really have a go at it. And so I did. I sat down, it drove me mad, but I got pretty good at making the calls, and I worked out what worked. And gradually my appointment book began to fill up. And miraculously, so did my sales book, and my revenue went up. So coming back to this video, the goal I had set was a activity-based goal. It wasn't something about some miraculous thing in the future where I became a millionaire just by calling myself one. What it was an activity which drove all my other activities. So that's my first point for this video. If you're setting yourself a goal or a New Year's resolution, make sure you're basing it on activity that you can undertake that isn't dependent on other things over which you have no control. So the salespeople that I worked with, their goals were too easily knocked off course by clients deciding not to go ahead with a big deal. So make sure that your goal that you're setting is an activity-based goal that you can control. And let's look at the second one now. So goals are great, but sometimes they can have the opposite effect. If you say you want to earn £1 million in 6 months' time, that's unrealistic unless you get really lucky. It's unrealistic both in terms of the time frame, and it's unrealistic in terms of the amount of money that you're looking to earn. If you're looking to start a new business and turn over £500,000 in your first year, that could be fine. On the other hand, you need to be really careful to set something which is achievable. So the second point is your goal or your New Year's resolution has to be something that's achievable. So if you're on 0 sales at the moment, don't assume you're going to be doing 100 sales a month by next month. So set something which feels like it's right. Try to make something that is realistic. Realistic goals are things which can be achieved by you with maybe a bit more effort. Realism is the key here. If you don't get real, you're just not going to have any chance of hitting your goals. And in fact, your goals act in the opposite direction because they just demotivate you in the end. When you realize you're not going to get there, you stop altogether. So for me, if you're setting goals or you're making New Year's resolutions, these are the 2 things which you should focus on. Make your objectives or your resolutions task-based. Don't allow them to just be a wish list. Secondly, get real. Make them realistic. That way you have a better chance of actually achieving them and getting further along the path. So I guess the question is then, if those are the critical things, what are my New Year's resolutions? Well, I've got two. The first one is, not surprisingly, just to keep on posting videos onto this site, keep on getting better at it, and make sure that I get at least 50 of them posted in the next 12 months. And the second one is all about my own welfare. I enjoy exercise and running, but I sometimes get so bound up in work that I don't do it. So this year I'm going to set myself the task-based objective of being out of the house exercising, even if it's only walking the dog, for 3 times every week. So there we are. New Year's resolutions sorted. I wish you all the best, and I hope you achieve all of your resolutions this year. Please subscribe to the site, look out for more videos coming along, and we'll be looking to put flesh on the bones of how you can go it alone this year.